All right, everyone, get ready for today's deep dive.
Ooh, exciting.
We're diving into the world of cryptocurrency,
Love it.
but with a twist.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
We're looking specifically at Bangladesh.
Interesting choice.
You might be thinking,
Yeah,
wait, isn't crypto banned in Bangladesh?
it is officially, yes.
Officially, yes.
Right.
But that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
We're exploring a September 2024 research paper
Oh, cool.
called Future of Cryptocurrency in Bangladesh, a double-edged sword.
That title definitely grabs your attention.
It really does.
What's the double-edged sword they're talking about?
Well, on one hand, Bangladesh's central bank has officially banned cryptocurrency transactions.
Yeah, because of those fears about illegal activities and all that.
Right, like money laundering and all this scary stuff.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, you have a massive unbanked population in Bangladesh.
Right. A huge portion of the population doesn't have access to traditional banking. And they rely heavily on remittances, sending money back and forth.
Which makes crypto incredibly appealing in a way.
Right. It's like a perfect solution, almost.
Almost, yeah.
So that's the paradox.
It really is.
It's like this incredible opportunity is dangling right there.
But they can't quite reach it. This whole double-edged sword idea.
Yeah.
Help me understand, what's so great about crypto for Bangladesh?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
Crypto is like a financial inclusion superpower.
Superpower.
It really is, especially in places like Bangladesh.
How so?
It can empower people in remote areas, people without traditional bank accounts.
Right. They might not have a bank branch for miles,
Exactly.
but they probably have a phone.
Most likely, yeah.
So crypto can give them access to financial services directly through their phones.
You're essentially putting banking in the palm of their hands,
That makes a lot of sense.
like a whole new world opening up for them.
But is anyone actually using crypto for this kind of stuff?
Oh, absolutely. The research highlights that 25% of remittance payments from the U.S. to other countries are already flowing through crypto channels.
Wow, that's a lot more than I would have guessed.
It's a growing trend for sure.
25%.
And think about remittances specifically to Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Imagine the impact if even a fraction of those could bypass traditional systems.
Oh, yeah, those traditional systems can be a real pain.
They are, with all their fees and delays.
And don't even get me started on the paperwork.
Ugh, the paperwork.
Crypto could really streamline that whole process
It could, big time.
and make it much cheaper, too.
Definitely.
Speaking of cheaper remittances,
Yeah.
that brings us to the El Salvador example.
Yes, El Salvador.
They jumped headfirst into the world of Bitcoin.
They did. They made it legal tender.
It was a bold move.
A gamble, some might say.
What's been the outcome of that gamble?
Well, the research points to some pretty impressive results.
Like what?
In 2021, El Salvador sent $32 million in remittances with practically zero fees.
Wow, $32 million with no fees.
Think about what that means for families sending money back home.
They're keeping more of their hard-earned cash.
Exactly. That's money that can go towards food, education, healthcare.
It can make a real difference in their lives.
It can.
It sounds like other countries, especially those that rely heavily on remittances,
Yeah,
should be taking notes.
absolutely.
The Philippines comes to mind.
Oh yeah, the Philippines is a prime example.
They receive billions in remittances every year.
Billions, you're right.
If they could even partially leverage crypto, the savings on fees could be huge.
Absolutely transformative for their economy and for individuals.
So we've got financial inclusion,
Check.
cheaper remittances,
Check.
but the paper suggests that crypto could boost the overall economy too.
You're catching on.
Really?
Yeah, the cryptocurrency industry can attract foreign investment,
Interesting.
and it can act as a catalyst for fintech innovation.
Fintech, that's all the rage these days.
It is, and for good reason.
There's that example of Malta.
Ah, Malta, the blockchain island.
Right. They went all in on crypto and blockchain.
And their foreign direct investment surged by 21%.
21%, that's impressive.
They created jobs, attracted capital.
And became a global hub for crypto and blockchain businesses.
Exactly. It's a great example of what's possible.
Wow, Bangladesh could be the next Malta.
It certainly has that potential.
It's like this could be their Silicon Valley moment,
It really could.
especially when you consider the issue of inflation.
Right. Inflation is a major concern in Bangladesh.
The taka can be pretty volatile.
It can, which makes things unpredictable for people.
So how does crypto help with that?
Well, the research specifically highlights stablecoins.
Stable coins. Yeah.
Cryptocurrencies pegged to the US dollar, for example.
Ah, so their value is more stable.
Much more stable, which can help protect savings from inflation.
Makes sense.
It's like having a digital life raft in a sea of economic uncertainty.
That's a great analogy.
And the research even mentions Venezuela.
Oh, right. Venezuela.
They faced hyperinflation.
It was a terrible situation.
People turned to Bitcoin and stable coins to safeguard their money.
It was like a lifeline for them.
It was. It gave them a sense of control in a really chaotic time.
So we've seen the sunny side of crypto in Bangladesh.
The potential is definitely there.
But we can't forget about that double-edged sword.
Right. The risks are real too.
This is where things get a bit more complicated.
They do.
I'm guessing the lack of clear crypto regulations in Bangladesh is a major concern.
It is. It creates uncertainty and opens the door to potential dangers.
It's like walking a tightrope without a safety net, isn't it?
It is. You're drawn to the potential rewards, but the fear of a nasty fall is always there.
So how does Bangladesh even begin to approach this?
Well, the research outlines a few key steps.
Okay, I'm listening.
Developing clear regulations is crucial.
That makes sense.
They also need to educate the public about crypto, both the good and the bad.
So people can make informed decisions.
Exactly. And then there's the whole cybersecurity aspect.
Oh, right. That's a big one.
Huge, especially when you're dealing with digital currencies.
What does the research suggest about cybersecurity?
Investing in robust cybersecurity infrastructure is paramount.
So strong defenses to protect against hacks and scams.
You need to build a digital fortress around their financial system.
A fortress, wow.
But even with the best fortress, there's the human element.
Right, people falling for phishing scams, clicking on dodgy links.
It's always a challenge.
Seems impossible to fully prevent.
It is tough, but education can help.
Education, yeah, like teaching people how to spot those scams.
Exactly, fostering a culture of cybersecurity awareness.
It's like a public health campaign, but for the digital world.
I like that analogy.
Now, what about fostering innovation in this space?
That's a good question.
How do you balance regulation with encouraging a thriving crypto sector?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
The research suggests a really interesting approach.
Okay, tell me more.
Creating regulatory sandboxes.
Regulatory sandboxes.
Yeah, they're controlled environments where companies can experiment.
Experiment with what?
With new technologies.
So crypto and blockchain stuff.
Exactly. They can operate under the watchful eye of regulators.
But with more flexibility than traditional regulations.
Right. It's a safe space for innovation.
So it's like a playground for crypto startups.
I like that.
They can test their ideas, see what works, what needs tweaking.
All within a safe and monitored space.
It's a win-win, it seems.
It is. It allows for innovation while still protecting consumers.
And preventing those systemic risks we talked about earlier.
Exactly.
Bangladesh could really become a leader in the crypto space.
They could, if they play their cards right.
It's like, instead of shutting the door on crypto completely,
Yeah.
they can carefully open it a little bit.
Let in the light, but keep the dangers at bay.
That's a good way to put it.
But there's another wrinkle.
Oh, there's always another wrinkle.
What about the people already using crypto in Bangladesh?
Despite the ban.
Despite the ban.
They're out there, aren't they?
They are. The research highlights the prevalence of peer-to-peer trading platforms.
So they're finding ways to trade crypto under the radar.
Exactly. It's proof that innovation often outpaces regulation.
It's like a digital speakeasy during Prohibition.
I love that analogy.
People want their crypto, and they'll find a way.
They will, which is why clear regulations are so important.
Trying to ignore the reality of crypto adoption just won't work.
It won't. It's better to acknowledge it, create a framework that works for everyone.
Bring those activities into the light.
Make it safer.
Yeah.
Potentially even benefit from it.
Instead of playing whack-a-mole with underground crypto activity, bring it into the open, regulate it, maybe even tax it.
Now you're thinking like a policymaker.
But this isn't just about Bangladesh, right?
Yeah, right. It's not.
This whole crypto thing is a global phenomenon.
It is. And a lot of countries are struggling with the same questions.
How to regulate it, how to balance the risks and rewards.
Exactly. It's like a giant global puzzle.
And each country is trying to find the right piece to fit.
What happens in Bangladesh could have ripple effects around the world.
It's like a real-life experiment unfolding before our very eyes.
It is, and the world is watching.
So what can we, as informed individuals, do to stay engaged?
Well, first and foremost, stay informed.
Be informed.
Engage in thoughtful discussions, like this one.
Ah, you're making me blush.
Stay curious, keep learning.
And don't be afraid to ask tough questions.
Exactly. Critical thinking is essential.
This isn't just about geeky tech stuff either.
Right. It's about the future of finance, global economics.
And even personal freedom, in a way.
It's all connected, which is what makes it so fascinating.
We're getting philosophical now?
A little bit, yeah.
I love it.
Me too.
This feels like a good place to pause for now.
Okay.
But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to continue our exploration
Sounds good.
of cryptocurrency in Bangladesh and beyond.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, see you in a flash.
Can't wait. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about how the whole world is watching how Bangladesh handles this crypto situation. It's fascinating, right?
Absolutely. And while we wait to see what happens, there are still those challenges Bangladesh has to deal with right now. Like we said earlier, their currency, the taka, can be pretty unpredictable.
Right.
So how could crypto help them stabilize things?
Well, think about stable coins,
Okay,
cryptocurrencies. But their value is pegged to something stable.
like the US dollar.
Exactly.
I see. So they wouldn't be going up and down so much.
Exactly. And if people in Bangladesh can use those easily through their phones, it could give them much more financial security than they have with the taka.
It's like a shield against inflation, right?
And that's a great way to put it. You're protecting yourself from the ups and downs of the local currency.
That makes a lot of sense, especially with all the uncertainty in the world right now.
And we've actually seen this happen in real life.
Oh, yeah.
In Venezuela, when they had that terrible hyperinflation a few years ago. The research paper talks about how people turn to Bitcoin and stablecoins to protect their savings.
Wow. So it's like a digital life raft.
Exactly. It gives people a sense of control when everything else feels like it's falling apart.
It's amazing how crypto can do that. Okay, so switching gears a little.
Sure.
What about those regulatory sandboxes we talked about?
Oh, yeah, those are interesting.
They sound like a pretty cool idea.
They are. Imagine a space where companies can actually try out all these new financial products and services.
Using crypto and blockchain.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a test environment.
Exactly. They can experiment and figure out what works, but the regulators are still keeping an eye on things. It's more flexible than the normal rules.
So it's like a safe space for innovation.
That's a great way to put it. Companies get to innovate, regulators see how it works, everybody wins.
Sounds pretty good to me. But even with all that, regulations just can't always keep up, right?
You're right.
Especially in Bangladesh, where crypto is banned, but people are using it anyway. What happens then?
Well, the research actually talks about this. It mentions the rise of these peer-to-peer trading platforms.
So people are just doing it anyway.
Yeah. They're finding ways to trade crypto even though it's officially banned. It's a perfect example of technology moving faster than the rules.
Like trying to stop a flood with a bucket.
Huh? That's a good one.
So it seems like they need to do something.
They do. Ignoring it isn't going to work. Instead of trying to shut it down, Bangladesh could try to regulate it.
Bring it out into the open.
Yes. Create a system that actually works, and maybe they could even benefit from it.
So instead of trying to fight it, they could make it safer and maybe even make some money.
Exactly. And this kind of brings us back to that global picture we were talking about before.
Right.
What's happening in Bangladesh isn't just about Bangladesh. A lot of countries are asking these same questions about how to handle crypto.
It's like everyone is trying to solve the same puzzle, but nobody knows what the picture is supposed to look like.
Huh, yeah. And whatever Bangladesh decides could affect how other countries approach this whole thing.
It's like they have this opportunity to be a leader, show everyone else how it's done.
Exactly. But if it goes wrong, it could be a warning sign for everyone else. So, yeah, no pressure.
Huh, right. The stakes are pretty high.
They are. But, hey, what can we do as people who are interested in all this?
That's a good question.
Well, I think the most important thing is to stay informed. Keep learning, keep having discussions like we are right now, and be curious.
Don't just take everything at face value.
Right. Challenge assumptions, ask tough questions, and keep digging deeper.
It sounds like we all need to be part of this conversation about the future of money.
We do. This isn't just something for governments and banks to figure out.
It affects everyone, really.
It does. The decisions they're making right now will shape how we all live in the future. So we have to understand this stuff.
You've given us a lot to think about today.
We have, haven't we?
Financial inclusion, all those complicated regulations, what's happening in Bangladesh. It's been a real deep dive into crypto.
It really has.
And we're not even done yet.
The world of finance is changing so fast.
And crypto's a big part of that.
Definitely a big part.
So as we wrap things up here,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you really want our listeners to remember?
That's a good question. I think it's this. The story of crypto, especially in a country like Bangladesh, is still being written.
Ooh, I like that.
You don't know what's going to happen yet.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure book.
Kinda.
But this is real life with real consequences.
Absolutely.
Crypto has this power to do so much good,
Yeah.
help people access financial services, boost the economy.
Even give people more control over their own money.
But there are those risks too.
There are, and Bangladesh has some big choices to make.
This is a pivotal moment for them,
A
really.
pivotal moment. Their decisions could change things not just for Bangladesh,
But for everyone.
for everyone.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that we all have a part to play in shaping the future of finance. Doesn't matter if you're a crypto expert,
Or just curious about it.
we all need to stay informed, stay engaged.
And stay curious.
Yes.
Well said. That's a great place to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
It was my pleasure.
We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic to unravel. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep asking those tough questions.
Exactly. See you next time.